In this video, we're going to start talking about brushes. Since these are the most important tools that we're going to use to do our works, I think we should spend some time to know a little bit more about them before we actually start using them. Here, we will see what we will use them for, we will introduce their basic anatomy, and we will discuss the materials used to produce them, pointing out pros and cons that we should keep in mind when we choose them. In our painting activity, we're going to use the brushes for three specific tasks. The first that we have already seen is to prepare our palette. The second is to move our oils from the palette to the support, where we're going to use them to fill a specific area. The third is to work our colors once they are on the support, mixing and combining them in the way we want. We will have many videos later to learn how we are going to use them, so for now this is all we need to know. Let's move our attention now on the brush itself. Its most important part is the belly. It's the part of the brush that gets in direct contact with our colors. It's made by bristles or hair. From now on, we will just refer to them as bristles. Then we have the ferrule. Its job is to keep together the bristles, give them a shape, and connect them to the last part of the brush, the handle. To ensure that the connection of the ferrule to the handle is strong, and that after some time it won't slip off, they crimp it. The last part of the brush that we want to be able to identify is where the bristles get out from the ferrule. We're going to call this area the heel. Let's discuss now some of the features that, together with the materials and the shapes, we should keep in mind when we choose our brushes. As we said, the most important part of a brush is its belly. The bristle stiffness is the first thing that we have to consider. In this case, our choice is related with our painting style and mostly on the way we thin our colors down. If we use thick paints, we want to use a stiff bristle brush. While if we use very fluid colors, we want to choose a soft one. In this course, we will only use medium soft brushes for the painting and stiff brushes for the palette. The other three bristles features that we have to consider are the thickness, the length, and the roughness. We'll discuss the length later when we will talk about the shapes. For now, we will only focus on the other two, the thickness and the roughness. These parameters are strictly related with the bristle's material, and they will influence the quantity of paint that the belly will load. Thick and wrinkled bristles will load more paint than the thin and smooth. Another thing that we should consider when we buy a brush is its handle. There are a lot of different types on the market, and many companies try interpreting the market needs or to distinguish themselves have designed a quite large variety. By our point of view, we want a brush that we feel comfortable handling and that it's easy to use. One of the most important differences between brushes is the handle length. We can find them with long, medium, and short handle. Mostly we will use all of them, because according with the job that we will do, one will be better than the others. We will see later how to choose them by the theoretical point of view. Another important thing of the brush handle is its shape. Although on the market we can find different types, somehow most of them are thicker in the area close to the ferrule and thinner on the opposite side. This is to balance the brush. In a perfectly cylindrical handle, the center of gravity would be right in the middle, while in a normal brush the handle shape move it closer to the belly. As we will see later, according with where we hold the brush, we will have different result on the canvas, but most of the time we want to hold it as close as possible to its center of gravity, because there is where we will feel more comfortable handle it. Let's talk now about the materials used to make the brushes. The most traditional materials to make the handles is the wood. This is what most of the companies use, but we can find them also in plastic. The wood used to make the handle should be light but also hard. We want our handle to be stiff and the crimp to work as long as possible. The most common wood used are pine, maple, beech, and for the most expensive, even cherry. Since most of the handles are lacquered, when we buy them we can't really see what type of wood they have used, but I would say that light and stiff is what we are looking for. To do the ferrule, different companies may use different materials, for example, aluminium, brass, or even tin. Quite often they treat them with an electroplating process to add an external coat of chrome, nickel, or sometimes even gold. This external treatment will make the ferrule look nice, but it will also increase the chemical resistance. We should always remember that we are dealing with chemical products. For most of the brushes they use nickel-coated brass. To connect the ferrule to the handle, the only crimping isn't enough. They have to use some glue. Unfortunately, we can't really check the quality of the glue when we buy our brushes. And this can be a problem because cheap companies may use low-quality glues, and after some time using them, but most of all washing them, the ferrule may slip off the handle. Let's see now the most common materials used for the belly. The most important division is between natural and synthetic bristles. The natural bristles are made by animal hairs such as Siebel, Kolinsky, Butger, Hogg, and others. By the chemical point of view, the natural bristles are molecular aggregations. And if we remember when we have talked about chemistry, a molecular aggregation is held together by molecular bonds that are not so difficult to break. For this reason, natural bristles brushes have a lower durability. By a mechanical point of view, they tend to lose their stiffness quite easily. Also, the belly shape will change quite quickly. On the other side, natural bristles are thicker and rougher, and this helps to load more paint. The natural bristle roughness makes them a little bit more difficult to clean. The synthetic bristles are made by using polymeric materials such as nylon, polyester, polyamide, or Teflon. The main feature of the polymeric materials is that they have very long molecules, and if we look at them through the microscope, we see something similar to a wool ball, where every wool string is a different molecule. And this means that inside those strings are connected by atomic bonds that, as we have seen, are very strong. The production process is divided in two steps. At first the material gets extruded, and right after it the strings get pulled. At the end, all the molecules are oriented longitudinally to the bristles. This process makes this kind of hair very resistant. Just to have an idea, this is how they make Kevlar and carbon fiber. On the other side, this kind of bristles can load less paint. In my opinion, for painting we should use golden Teflon or polyamide brushes. These are quite soft and they are very good for what we are going to do in this course. To prepare the palette we should use stiff bristles. On the market we can find both natural and synthetic. I personally use the natural because after some time the belly changes in a shape which is very good for this job. And with this last consideration we have concluded our introduction on the brushes. If you enjoyed this video, we will really appreciate if you could click on like and subscribe to our channel. It will also help us very much if you could leave a comment. Thank you for watching this video and see you in the next one.